Saturday. What's a player prop you like in this Bengals-Raiders game? Go ahead, Pearce. You're the Ohio resident.
What does that have to do with anything? Oh, I guess, yeah, it's the Bengals. Okay. I don't know why they didn't make
know it's home team.
What's going on with you, dude? Hey, I have a map of the world and the country behind me, just in case you need to remind yourself where you live.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Joe Mixon under 76.5. This number just seems a little bit high for me. I know Steve probably likes it. I think earlier this week he talked about how he wanted to take advantage of this Raiders defense. But if you look at what Joe Mixon has done and the way that this offense has been going, it's not necessarily been on the ground. 5 times in the last 5 games, he's gone under this. 11 of 16 times this season, Joe Mixon has gone under this. He's only received 20 carries or more in 4 games this entire season, and 2 of those were in week 1 and week 2. They could have success. They could blow out the Raiders and then sit on the ball, but I just don't see Cincinnati blowing out the Raiders. And if they do blow out the Raiders, I would imagine that they just keep passing the ball, moving the ball through the air, and using Mixon as a receiving running back. So I'm going to take the under in this spot.
Okay, cool. Steve, what are you looking at in this game, player prop?
This is very insulting. Pearce always goes on Twitter, talks about all these books that he reads. He's book smart. Well, if you look at the history books, it says that the Bengals in week 11 absolutely crushed the Raiders. And in that game, Joe Mixon ran for 123 yards against this Las Vegas Raiders team. Granted, it was 30 carries. It was a lot of carries, but he had all the time to do that because they were absolutely crushing this Raiders team. I like the over on Mixon's rushing yards in this game. I think he's going to be extremely efficient on the ground. The Raiders have been one of the worst run defenses in the league, and they should have no problem, the Bengals I'm talking about, taking out this Raiders team. They have a very good pass rush, but who has been the best when being blitzed? It's been Joe Burrow. They're going to have no issues taking down this Raiders team. Then they're going to run it out with Joe Mixon. Give me the over on Mixon's rushing yards.
Yeah, Mixon said yesterday, too, guys, opponents are not laughing at the Bengals anymore. Quote, they know what's going on. Ooh, all right. Well, I know what's going on in the DK Sportsbook here with this one because I'm looking at it. Bengals 5-point favorites at home, Pearce. The total is 48. You feel like betting that spread, or you leaning one way or the other on the total?
I'll take the Bengals to cover in this game. If they do what they're supposed to do, as Steve alluded to, they need to beat this team through the air and then run the ball and then run away with the game. But either way, I think what the Bengals will do is just continue to pass, and it's been successful of late as long as they stick to that. One of the things that I would like to see them do is not play conservative, not play to just, hang on. We've seen that backfire on them in previous games. But if they can just keep passing, go to Joe Burrow, that's your strength. Don't let the Raiders hang in this game. Don't let them believe in themselves. Cincinnati's defense is not that good. And if you let the Raiders hang in this game, which the Raiders are a lot better team this time around, they're going to run into trouble. But if they can just come out the gates passing early, I think they'll easily cover this.
Okay, Steve, is it an easy cover?
Yeah, I mean, look, like it's a weird number. Like, I'm never really going out of my way. Like, oh, I want to take a team that's favored by 5 points. Like, but that's how it is in this game. I like this spot for the Bengals. Like, if I was just hyping up Joe Mixon and how he's going to be running the ball up because the Bengals have a grasp on this game, then I'm absolutely going to be taking -5. I'm not going to be worried about that number. Is it the most appealing spread on the board? Most likely not, because you can get some other better numbers for some other teams. But I do like the -5 for the Bengals, so I'll absolutely take them in this spot.
Hey, Bukes, what about the Patriots in Buffalo here? By the way, I saw this morning, there's still some really cheap tickets available for this game. Wind chills expected to could be -15 to -20, but you can get tickets right now for like $25-30 there. So if you're in the Western New York area, definitely hit it up and freeze yourself to death. What's a player prop here you have your eye on, Bukes?
I mean, first and foremost, I'm not buying any tickets for any game that, the temperature is 30 degrees or below. I don't need to pay to go outside and do that. I can watch in the comfort of my own home. So
Amen.
Fading buying tickets to the game. I'm also fading the passing yards for Mac Jones, which is currently at 205.5. Just feels like a really big number here when all the elements are going to be in play here once again. We joke about how Steve hates the weather. When crap like this is going on and it's like, negative 50 degrees and like nobody wants to be out there, but they're out there because they're football players and they have to get paid to do their job. You're not going to want to be passing the ball, and you can't imagine you're going to be having success passing the ball in this game anyways against a strong Buffalo secondary. So over 205.5, I don't want to be taking that. I want the under in this one at -115. I would not be surprised if the Patriots are going ground heavy in this game once again. They might have to do it just by, by how the elements are. You're not going to be able to pass successfully in this game. So give me under 205.5 for Mac Jones.
All right, cool. What about you, Pearce? Player prop you have your eye on here for this Bills-Pats game.
I'll build on Steve's playing here with Ramondre Stevenson over 39.5. Obviously, Damian Harris is the guy to go to, and he should be fine. He gets the Q tag every week and plays. But still, this is a really low number, especially if we expect New England to run the ball, which that's really their only way to win. They're not going to win a shootout with Buffalo. They've got to lean towards the run, and then you have the weather environment as well. And you look at what Stevenson's done in 6 of his last 8 games. He's averaging over 5 yards per carry. And even in the 2 games where he didn't get that, against Buffalo, he was 3.2 yards per carry. But they gave the ball to him a lot because it was a run-heavy game. And so even if he doesn't have the most efficient, explosive game, we're expecting a lot of work on the ground. And 39.5 is just a really low number for what we're expecting.
All right, cool. Pearce, how about spread now? Bills 4.5-point favorites at home. You sticking with them?
No, I'm going with the Patriots. I would consider taking the Patriots money line this spot. People are overreacting. The Patriots always lose to Miami, and they lost to Indianapolis because of a couple bad plays. They lost to Buffalo. If a couple plays go their way, they win that game as well. And the last thing you want to do is to get down on the Patriots and tell them that they're not any good and that they're overrated. That's when they come out and have these big games. And we've already talked about the weather environment. I think that's going to hurt Josh Allen, and that should play to the strength of the run attack, which is where New England has the advantage over them. Strange thing. I mean, people want to say, oh, it's just weather. It's just cold. It's not a big deal. If you go through the history of the NFL, there aren't very many cold weather games. Belichick's played in 3 of these in his entire career. Buffalo, going back to 1978, single-digit games, just 3 times. Very, very cold weather is a big deal, and it's going to limit the passing attacks, and that's an advantage for New England.
Steve, how concerning is it that like Josh Allen, like right before this game, has like revealed that he has poor circulation. So when it gets to these like really cold games, he does tend to struggle. Like, I'm not kidding here.
Yeah, like when one of the big stories coming into this game is, he should be taking the blue pill, and I'm not talking about the Matrix. So, that's obviously a concern for something that you have to be worried about. Here's the thing about the Bills. Everybody wants to say how good the Bills have been at home this season. Did you ever look at their home schedule? What a cupcake schedule that they played. I'm just going to run this down real quick for you, okay? These are all the teams they played in Buffalo this year. They played against Pittsburgh. They played against Washington, Houston, Miami, the Colts, the Patriots, and they lost that game, the Panthers, the Jets, and the Falcons. What a really enduring schedule that they had at home, okay? They have not played. They played well at home because of the schedule that they were given. They did not beat anybody impressive at home this season. Anything over 3.5, I am 100% backing the Patriots in this spot. This is likely going to be a close game because they're both going to be running the ball on the ground. So if you're getting +4 or above, you should be backing the Patriots in this spot. This game's going to be close, but you're getting the points with the Patriots here in a game that I don't think either team's going to have a ton of success. So I'll take the Patriots at +4 or +4.5, whatever it's at right now.
Yeah, 4.5 right now. And producer Drew really hoping this game does not last longer than 4 hours. We do have 3 games on Sunday. What's your favorite player prop right now from that slate, Pearce?
Give me Gronkowski over 55.5 yards. I'm not going to overreact to the wind. Now, if the wind is 25, 30 miles per hour, maybe you start to get concerned. But if you look at Tom Brady's stats in games with wind over 15 miles per hour, just look at the last 2 from last season with Tampa. They scored over 30 points in both games. So I feel pretty confident there. And then also Gronk had a 20% target share over the last 2 weeks with Tampa having a limited amount of receivers. And he's facing a Philadelphia team that's allowed the 6th most receiving yards in 1,035 and 107 receptions. Just a great matchup, a great volume. He's got over 100 yards in the last 2 weeks. How does he not go over 55 this week?
Hey, Bukes, what player prop stands out to you on Sunday? 3 games.
Yeah, I'm staying with that same player. Rob Gronkowski to score an anytime touchdown is at even money. They are down Chris Godwin. They're down Antonio Brown. They're down Leonard Fournette. The Eagles have allowed the most receiving touchdowns to opposing tight ends in the league at 13. You're telling me that Rob Gronkowski is not going to score in this game? This is an easy way to double your money on a player prop this week. You can even get plus 750 for him to score the first touchdown. Obviously, a little more risk there, but you're getting a lot better odds there. Either way, Rob Gronkowski is coming out of this game with a touchdown. Easily double your money here with the even money on the board on DraftKings Sportsbook. So that's my favorite player prop.
All right, Bukes. Also, by the way, like Eagles, I'm looking at their schedule. They haven't faced a capable offense really since a Week 9 loss to the Chargers. So I think you guys are onto something here. Let's look now at the totals. So which game on Sunday has your favorite total to bet, Steve?
I'm taking under 46 points with the Steelers and the Chiefs. I just don't think the Steelers are going to be able to do anything on offense. They haven't been able to do anything on offense since week 1, it feels like. What's going to change now against the Chiefs, who have been a much better defensive team in the second half? You know, I don't really want to touch this total at minus 12.5. If I want to get something in this game, I think under 46 points is the play here. Like, I would not be surprised if the Chiefs go and score 30 and the Steelers can't do enough to make up the difference. Like, that is just the lack of enthusiasm I have for the Steelers offense, which resonates with Ben Roethlisberger because he feels the same way. He said it himself during a presser over the week. So give me under 46 points for the Steelers and Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are averaging just around like 20 points a game too. It's pretty gross. Pearce, what about you?
Yeah, let's go, Pete.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to that Tampa game. And as you mentioned, Philadelphia has really benefited from a very soft schedule. You get to play Washington twice, the Giants twice, and they find themselves in the playoffs. They're not a good team. The bottom half of this league is pretty bad. And you know, maybe this line goes even lower as people freak out about the wind, but Tampa's not going to have any problem moving the ball and scoring against a really bad Philadelphia team that really doesn't even deserve to be in the playoffs. And then they also have a pretty good offense in terms of garbage time, letting Jalen Hurts run around, get some garbage points, and push this thing over the total. As I mentioned earlier, if you look at Tom Brady's last 2 games with a 15-mile-per-hour wind or higher, the game has gone over in both of those games. I believe in this Tampa offense, and I think Philadelphia is bad, and we're gonna see who they really are on Sunday.
Hey, Pearce, what about we're talking spreads here on Sunday? Which one are you targeting?
I'm gonna go to that Pittsburgh game that I know that Steve is a little worried about. I agree that this thing should go under, and I also agree that Pittsburgh's offense is absolutely terrible. But Pittsburgh's defense, although they didn't really play well in the first matchup against Kansas City, now a lot of that had to do with their offense being absolutely terrible. But for the most part, to close out the season, the Pittsburgh defense has played well. And if that pass rush can get them off the field, can end some drives for Patrick Mahomes, slow this game down, I think they can keep it within the 12.5 points. Obviously, Pittsburgh's not going to be able to score points. But I also believe that Pittsburgh can slow down a Kansas City team that really hasn't looked that great to close out the season. I mean, they've got a couple wins. They've got plenty of wins, but those wins came against some inferior opponents. They kind of stumbled a little bit into the playoffs.
Steve, talk to me here, dude.
Yeah, look, you're looking at that Rams game. It's moved to -4. I grabbed this at -3.5, and now it's at -4. I just don't think the Cardinals have an answer for the Rams this week. Like, you look at this offense without DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins wasn't exactly, having a stellar year, but this offense has slipped dramatically without Hopkins in the mix, and Kyler Murray's not really running much either. Their top targeted receiver since Hopkins has went down has been Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz doesn't get you yards after the catch. When he basically catches the ball, that's it. That's all Zach Ertz does. And then you look at those numbers for Cliff Kingsbury. Through the first 7 games of the season with the Cardinals, with Texas Tech, he was 42-20-1. After that, Cliff Kingsbury has a career record of 16-43. That is absolutely atrocious, and that just goes to kind of talk about how bad this Cardinals team has been. This team was 7-0 for the first 7 games of the season, went 3-5 the rest of the year. They're not beating the Rams in this one. Give me Rams -4.